board for a roll call. Can you hit Newman's? All right. Senator Serval, you're next. But, ma'am, because there are other people that want to talk, we're going to put 3 minutes. I'm not going to count the prior speaker against that. You have 3 minutes, but it is a hard stop. At 3 minutes, we will stop the comments, and then those against will have 3 minutes to record, to respond, and then we will have a vote. So,
okay.
Hold on.
Yes,
I don't want you to, can you reset the clock, Hobie? So, yes, all those in favor, please line up for your 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am. Tell us who you are.
My name is Julia Tanner, Mr. Chairman and honorable senators. Thank you so much for your time, but I will be quick because there are others behind me. My name is Julia Tanner, and I have 2 daughters. We are residents of Virginia, and I am here to explain to you that this legislation is not a nullity. I also have 2 letters to the editor from citizens in your district, which I would be happy to submit for the record, as well as a resolution from the County of Fairfax, which is by population the largest county in the state, asking you to please ratify the ERA with SJ4.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, sir.
And you can submit those letters and we'll pass them out.
I will do that. Thank you so much. So regarding the archivist letter and the argument that we've heard, and I am an attorney, and it is simply an argument. It is not actually a it is not a proven fact, as the Attorney General's office has said. At the moment, there is no certainty on this fact at best case. And at worst case, for those who do not agree with this amendment, we are correct. As Professor Wendy Murphy, who's an expert in women in the law at the New England School of Law, has said, the Supreme Court never actually ruled on this issue. And I actually read this case, and I've read it several times. It's based on a 1-page memorandum, and it is like a 2-sentence dismissal based on a 1-page memorandum. You could go read it right now. National Organization of Women versus Idaho. The Supreme Court never said this is a nullity, and they never said states cannot ratify. They never said Congress cannot move the deadline. And in fact, in various cases, Congress has moved a deadline. States have ratified after deadlines. Professor Murphy emphasizes, therefore, it is not the legislature's role to determine unsettled constitutional questions. It is the legislature's job to pass laws and let the courts deal with the constitutional issues. And the case law bears that out. I would love to meet with you afterwards if this does not pass, but I urge you to reconsider your positions. Please, for the women of this Commonwealth, for women sitting on this committee, for women, the 96% of Americans who favor passing the ERA, and for all of the many constituents who do believe that this is what you all should do, we do ask you to please ratify the ERA. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. One of the questions in this debate is, does the Constitution already cover sex discrimination? And the question, as answered by Supreme Court Justice Scalia, the question is not whether the Constitution requires discrimination based on sex, but rather if it prohibits it. And it doesn't. So in essence, what he says, if you want equity under the Constitution, go out and get an amendment. And that's what these men, and that's what these women, and that's what these children are here for today. I find it very hard to understand why you don't want your name on historical legislation. This will put Virginia on the forefront of equal rights, which will result in a better economy, companies coming to Virginia. I tell you what, these men, these women, these children, if it's not passed this year, if it's not furthered for debate, they'll be back next year. And if it's not done next year, they'll be back the year after. And they'll be looking at different faces on this panel, people that will pass it. I have to tell you, I have 3 daughters,
You've
6
used up
granddaughters.
all the time for the people behind you. So those who are standing up, if you would please come forward and tell us your name, and I assume you're supportive of the position.
I'm very supportive of the position.
Thank
on
you.
behalf of my 3 daughters, 6 granddaughters. I'm here to tell you they're not the weaker sex, but they
thank you.
should be the
Thank
equal
you.
sex.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please tell us your name.
My name
and
is
that you-
Eileen Davis, and I just want to speak briefly about the
Ma'am.
abortion issue. I send you all a letter, and I know that that's the
Ma'am,
elephant in the room.
we-
I understand, Mr.
we-
McDougall,
ma'am,
please. I've
we're-
tried to meet with you since January, and I was told that I would have...
Ma'am, ma'am,
I would have public opportunity to speak with you in committee, so I am going to take that, and I will be brief. Just allow me.
turn it back on.
What I would like to say to you is that the elephant in the room is that, and I know the opposition is saying that this is a secret abortion bill. As a nurse who has worked in a church-sponsored clinic, I take extreme offense to that statement because it absolutely is not true. Excuse me? I'm going to quote. Roe v. Wade was decided on the constitutional right to privacy, and there is nothing in the statement, equality of rights under the law should not be denied or abridged by the United States or any other state on account of sex. It speaks to pregnancy, uteruses, etc. The legislative history concludes that abortion is not a sex equality issue. Thomas Emerson of Yale Law Review concluded that abortion is a unique issue for women and hence does not raise any questions of equal protection and is not a sex equality issue. In lawyer speak, this is the obvious. Men cannot get pregnant. Now, as a nurse who worked as a birth educator nurse with decades of experience, I want to tell you a ratified equal rights amendment would actually reduce abortions. Why? Because as a health professional, I can tell you each and every time, in the many, many times I've ever told a woman she was pregnant, if this wasn't received as happy news, the first words uttered is always some variation of, I don't know how I'm going to afford this, I can't afford another child, I cannot lose my job. Over decades, this narrative has never wavered. I can't stress enough the correlation I have seen between a woman's economic and job security and her decision whether to continue an unplanned pregnancy. If you really want to support women and their unplanned pregnancies, if you really want to reduce abortions, empower women with a solid foundation of constitutionally guaranteed gender equality law, which would add strict scrutiny to our Constitution and strict scrutiny to economic equality, equal pay, and opportunity, and provide economic job security to women pregnant or not. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am, if you would please tell us your name and your support of the issue, the allocated time has expired.
I understand. My name is Katie Hornung, and as a fourth-generation Republican, I support Republicans taking leadership on this important issue and moving it forward to the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Shamali Houth. I'm from Reston, Virginia, and I'm a 10-year veteran of the Air Force, serving both enlisted and officer. My husband's retired military. Virginia is home to a lot of veterans. We support the ratification of the ERA. It's very important.
Ma'am, just please tell us your name and your position. We've passed the time for advocacy. So
15% of the U.S. military and 20% of U.S. Air Force are women. We serve and protect the Constitution and defend the United States, but we are not protected by that same Constitution.
Valerie Philgrove from the League of Women Voters of Virginia. We do support the Equal Rights Amendment. I will just say one little thing. My grandson, who's 11 years old, puts it in a very concise way. He says, women do not have a contract with the Constitution.
thank you. Because we've gone over the time frame, everybody who stood up now, so we're going to have individuals who are opposed to the amendment give the opportunity to speak now. So thank you for coming. We really do appreciate that. And we know that you're in favor of the resolution passing, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much for being here.
So are the 20 senators who have already signed on as patrons.
Yes, thank you. And we're going to have a raise of hands. So those individuals who are not in favor of the amendment, if you will please come forward to speak, if anybody so chooses to come forward.
I think it's important to know that the General Federation of Women Clubs has had a resolution supporting the Equal Rights Amendment for decades. As my name is Frida Cathcart, as a mother of 4 sons who is their soccer coach, I ask you to please pass the ball, please pass this bill. Thank you.
My name's Wendy Martin. I live in Richmond, Virginia. I'm a business owner. This is ridiculous what's happening, and it's going to be on the national news. We deserve a vote, and we've had it. Seriously. Please
Thank
give
you
us
for
a
being
vote.
here. So, does anyone who wishes to speak against the amendment, please come forward. Okay, with that, Senator Howell has moved. She had moved, and it was seconded that there be a vote. So the vote is on passage of SJR 4. So all in favor of that, please signify by raising your hand. 5. So all 5. All in favor. All in favor of not passing the bill, please raise your hand. The motion fails. The motion fails.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Carrico.
Mr. Chairman, we operate these meetings on decorum, and I chair a committee, and this is not the way we operate. I hope that everyone in here would have the respect of what the meetings are for. We've let you have to say your piece, and I think it's time that we move on.
We're just getting started.
Thank you, Senator Carrico. Senator Locke. Senator Locke, your bill is SJ 19 on the Joint Subcommittee for Coastal Flooding Report. On page 7 is the next one up on the list. Senator Locke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Okay. Mr. Chairman, SJ 19